Here is the recap for episode 12 of season 5 of Below Deck Sailing Yacht. The last time, the ladies absolutely adored the crew's funny skit that portrayed Ronnie's jellyfish attack. After spending their final night in Ibiza clubbing, the visitors were greeted with a pizza brunch in the early morning. Gary had an unexpectedly sober crew night out after determining that booze is not his friend. The events of BDSY Season 5, Episode 12, Fraught Mess are detailed here. This week's episode has Gary and Daisy celebrating Gary's sober crew night out with a small drink. To put it mildly, the people on this charter are really challenging. They dislike everything about sailing, including the food, drinks, and everything else. To download their nighttime experience, they pull Captain Glenn aside at the end of the cruise. These are some of the best parts in episode 12 of season 5 of BDSY. When Gary wakes up the morning after his sober night out, he asks Daisy, "You know what we should do to celebrate? You and I ought to get a drink off the boat." "Yes, indeed. Gary, that's a fantastic idea. Let's get a drink to celebrate your sobriety." Gary drinks a glass of wine whenever they go out together. In addition, he wants to know if Daisy ever witnesses them together. Daisy doesn't seem interested in Gary, but he has a major crush on her. She claims that she is enjoying herself too much. Daisy tells him, "You just like the idea of me. You must be truthful with yourself." She believes that before Gary enters a relationship, he needs to work on himself a lot because it won't be healthy. Daisy continues, "You have to be with a secure person in order to be in a secure relationship. We are not safe individuals." Gary is looking for someone who can solve his difficulties. Daisy still remembers how he treated her and Colin disrespectfully last year, which caused her to regress. She continues, "Unless Gary did some serious growing up very fast, do we have a future? I hope she doesn't change her mind." As the visitors get settled in their rooms, Sherry, one of the passengers, has a lot to say about the boat's lack of size and the strength of the drinks. Among other things, she doesn't appear to be having a great time. The women believe that when they want something from Daisy, they ought to be able to press a button. The women, however, are not pleased with the boats tilting as the sails rise and the vessel keels. "I'm going to throw up," one of the women declares. Were they unaware that this was a sailing vessel, and sailboats do just that? "Although I also dislike sailing, I wouldn't be as upset if I was paying for it." "Is this typical?" Sherry says. "I didn't anticipate this. I am on the verge of vomiting." Chase rushes to get her a bucket. She responds in the affirmative when Captain Glenn asks whether she feels uneasy and wishes to cease sailing. Glenn interviews, "This is the first time I've ever been asked to stop sailing. I pray that it's the final one."